Please continue to stand for the playing of the national anthem. Thank you, Mr. Brown and Master Hezekiah. I ask that you remain standing so we can have this launch blessed with a word of prayer by Mr. Reynold John. Mr. John.
It is very unusual for one to give a theme to an invocation, but today I want to theme this prayer invocation by a simple statement that says, "The Master has returned." I'm quoting Matthew, permit me, 25:14-30, where a good master would have given some talents to a servant and went on a long journey. And today, I ask you to bow our heads as we pray. Dear God, we are extremely grateful unto you that the Master has returned. For some 2 years, shy of 50 years, this institution organization was established by the PNM government. Today, your Master has returned for us to account for our stewardship. And throughout Trinidad and Tobago are centers that represent technical vocational education that supports all industries in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, especially the manufacturing industry. Today we want to give you thanks. Today we can show that there are thousands of young people, and not so young, in many industries in Trinidad and Tobago that are the benefactors of an education through MIC. Today this institution also boasts about bringing parity between technical vocational education and academia. Today we stand proud that we can tell the Prime Minister that we have done well. And like the Master that has returned, and we have accounted, he will bless us with another 5 talents. And so today we want to thank you immensely for being here today. We want to thank you for the Prime Minister and his government. We want to thank you for the institution MIC and the Board of Directors. We want to thank you for the trainees that are going to be the benefactors of this program. And we ask going forward that you will bless this program, bless this launch, and bless each of us here, we pray, in your holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Mr. John. Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Esmond Ford, Deputy House Speaker, Senator the Honorable Paula Gopiskun, Minister of Trade and Industry, the Honorable Foster Cummings, Minister of Youth and Development and National Service, the Honorable Lisa Morris-Julian, Acting Minister of Education, Mr. Farouk Hussein, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, Chairman of the MIC Institute of Technology, Professor Clement Imbert, Ms. Tricia Kusal, President, Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, Dr. Mahindra Ramesh Ramdeen, CEO, Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, Dr. Ruby Allen, Chair of the National Training Agency, NTA, and the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago, other distinguished chairpersons, board members, and CEOs, our industry partners, Deputy Chairman of the MIC Institute of Technology, Mr. Keith Toby, Board of Directors of the MIC IT, Acting CEO of the MIC IT, Mr. Randy Munilal, members of MIC IT's executive and management team, staff, our manufacturing apprenticeship trainees, manufacturing apprenticeship program trainees, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome you all here today. I am Nayantara Gaya Hassan, MIC IT's Corporate Communications Coordinator and Master of Ceremony for this afternoon. Today is a day when so many young trainees step into the spotlight to embrace their new beginning and play a legendary role in our nation's future. And speaking of legendary, our first speaker is just that. His great and many achievements in the realm of education, engineering, innovation, and steel pan have made him extraordinary as an innovative thinker, a man of his word, and a man of action. He is our leader and has championed this initiative from the very beginning. To officially welcome you and open this launch, I call upon our dear chairman of the MIC IT, Professor Emeritus Clement Imbert.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. I hear people say Mistress of Ceremonies, but that is not me. You get a Master of Science and you're a Master Craftsman, whether you're male or female, unfortunately. That hasn't been made gender specific yet, but thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies. And all those things you said about me, I'm conceited enough to take it. I'm not going to pretend to be humble. I'm taking it. So, again, thank you. The Master of Ceremonies said welcome, but this is really my role. My role is very simple today. It's to welcome you, to invite the Prime Minister to a tour, and let me warn his security that he's not leaving here unless he does the short tour, even if it's just a short tour, so I'm just warning you. I can't warn the Prime Minister, I'll get in trouble if I do that. And to give you a very brief background, Dr. James, who is our General Manager of Training, will give you the details of the program. I have been told to be very short, and that I need not repeat the long list of salutations. But of course I must welcome and I must greet and mention Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley. I was about to say this is his first visit to MIC, but when he was Minister of Trade, he believes that he did visit I saw him cudgeling his brains, to use a nice English expression, outside, thinking that he did in fact visit. But I'm sure he didn't see our wonderful high-tech equipment. So it's just below this auditorium. So as I say, even if he takes a 5-minute tour, he will have to take it before he leaves. Thank you, Prime Minister, for agreeing to take the short tour. Thank you very much. I sort of saw you bowing your head, so I took that as agreement. As I said, I was told to be short. I will be short, although it's difficult to tell an MBA to be short. But to some people that comes naturally, but not to me. Before I go further, I'd really like to congratulate these wonderfully looking, the trainees. They look industrial already, and I'm sure they're also going to be industrious in their studies. And again, I want you to give a round of applause to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who graced us with his presence here this afternoon. MIC is in fact, we can boast to say that we're the premier TVET institution in the Commonwealth Caribbean, the English-speaking Caribbean. And we have been, you heard, since 1974, providing highly skilled trainees, and in fact, trainees at all levels now since the early 2000s, in various fields of TVET, TechVoc, education and training. We have centers throughout Trinidad and Tobago. I heard Mr. John, when he was saying Trinidad and Tobago, he mentioned Tobago first. Mr. John is from Tobago, so Mr. John, we have no problem with that, and I'm sure the Prime Minister also has no problem with that slip, that Freudian slip that we made there. And we have in fact been asked to conduct training in several countries of the Caribbean. Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Martin, the Dutch half of that island. And Guyana, and we hope to do much more in Guyana with the new requirements that they will have for TechVoc skilled personnel in Guyana. And as I said, for over 47 years we have been doing this, having started in 1974, training our own people because it was impossible to locally train a tool and die maker, which is a very specialized precision machinist, really. So that we had people from Germany and from, I think, Austria and Switzerland and so on. Because MIC, like Kuriri and other places, was started with the help of UNDP and UNIDO. But in 1974, we accelerated that training. And when Ferrostal, the company that had interest in many of the methanol companies, invited Professor Julian and the then Prime Minister, Patrick Manning, to visit Germany to look at the higher level training that was sort of waning in Trinidad and Tobago, where the oil companies and Etiantec and Caroni and so on had very robust apprenticeship programs that started to wane. So from 1995, this is 1994, 1995, we have been doing a program at a high level, what you can call an advanced technician, the journeyman and the master craftsman. And the program that these trainees are going to be following is exactly, more or less, that same program that we adopted and adapted from Germany. And in fact, we have the Germans, except for the last 2 years, come every year to make sure, because we are specially accredited by the German Chamber of Trades and Crafts and Trades. And of course, we have institutional accreditation from ACTT. And I should mention that we are the first institution to be accredited both by ACTT because of this tertiary level program. And we are also approved. We have center and program approval from the NTA. The first, and for a while the only one, I believe, in Trinidad and Tobago. So without spending too much more time, I would like to just say how pleased we are to partner with the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the TTMA to run this program. Of course, there is a national committee from the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, which has a sort of overarching eye at the training of all youth. So in that sense, we also are affiliated with the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. So thank you for, thanks to Foster Cummins, Minister Foster Cummins, the Honorable Minister of Youth Development and National Service, who has seen the benefit of what MIC can do and has engaged in MIC to do a number of courses already. So again, I want to thank you. I want to welcome you to this opening ceremony and to leave you with, as Mr. John said, all the blessings of the Almighty that this program will go forward in faith, as they say. So again, thank you very much, and God bless to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Our next speaker is also a technical visionary, having started off as an MIC IT trainee many years ago, and has worked his way up to general manager of both the training division and the industry services divisions. To deliver the program overview for the course of study of the manufacturing apprenticeship program, I now invite Dr. Brian James to the podium. Dr. James.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I never like coming after the chairman. He's so debonair and suave with his oratory that you can't emulate or follow. But I will try my best, but I will have to stick to my script. Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, honorable ministers, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. In the world today, manufacturing engineering has become a key technological application to many different products and processes. Modern manufacturing processes and services have reached a high level of sophistication, which would be hard to maintain and operate using traditional methods. Therefore, it is incumbent on the MIC Institute of Technology to adapt and transform its programs in meeting the 21st century industry needs. Being technologically up-to-date and relevant gives you the necessary advantage to remain a viable competitor in the manufacturing business community. Given the multifaceted and highly integrated technologies that now forms part of the new wave industry 4.0, specialist learning facilities such as MICIT are needed to provide specific skills-based training with especially designed technology training centers, learning factories, and industrial partners for the conduct of training. This has been a mechanism for manufacturing skills training for decades, keeping in stride with global developments. MICIT can boast of having a robust and relevant curriculum, trained master craftsmen, specialized training equipment, and established accredited programs in many technical disciplines of manufacturing and engineering. Therefore, as a leading training provider, it is our obligation to produce a quality and skilled workforce which can be a critical factor in the success of firms of the future and for economic development of Trinidad and Tobago. MICIT will continue to play its part in building multidisciplinary programs towards transitioning and adapting our trainees to the emerging fourth industrial revolutionary phase impacting our industry today. When we look at apprenticeship, it is a proven approach to workforce training and development and has always been heralded as the best way to train and develop the next generation of practitioners and trade persons. It is an integrated system of skilled occupational training that combines practical work experiences acquired in the industry, coupled with the related technical off-the-job academic training that provides a relevant certification and recognition. It is one of the oldest and proven approaches to skills development that countries regionally and internationally continue to adopt as a strategy to develop skilled and competent workers. The Manufacturing Apprenticeship Program, MAP or MAP, was developed for the non-energy manufacturing sector by the Ministry of Trade and Industry in collaboration with other key stakeholders, including the MIC Institute of Technology, the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, and the National Training Agency. It is predicated on the National Skills Development Program, NSDP, currently offered by MICIT, and seeks to address the issue of current and future skills gap within the sector by providing training and development to a cadre of persons who will be available for employment within the sector upon completion of the program. The Manufacturing Apprenticeship Program, MAP, is pegged at the Caribbean Qualification Framework, Level 6. Is accredited both locally through the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago, the ACTT, and in Germany, the German Chamber of Crafts and Trades. It is expected that implementation of this apprenticeship program will create a cadre of trained and skilled individuals who will be equipped with the necessary skill set for the non-energy manufacturing sector that meets and exceeds the current and future skills gaps in the manufacturing sector. The MAP program will span over a 3-year period. The first year of training provides trainees with an opportunity to gain skills in 4 technical areas, namely mechanical engineering technology, electrical electronics technology, industrial maintenance technology, and mechatronics technology. In years 2 and 3 of the programs, trainees are required to choose one of the 4 areas offered as a specialization. Trainees are placed into on-the-job training at an industry partner site. Here, the trainee is exposed to the practical, real-world applications of the knowledge and practical skills they have learned during the first year of training. During this phase, trainees are required to spend 4 days per week in the industry at an industrial partner site and 1 day per week at the MICIT Training Center, where they are provided with in-house training in their specialized area to complement their on-the-job training. The teaching and training Supplies will include all materials and equipment required by both the lecturers and the trainees, especially the trainees facilitating the training program. These will include any form of safety and personal protective equipment, including industrial coveralls, eye and face protection, shields, safety goggles, welding masks, gloves, earplugs, helmets, steel-tip boots, etc. The trainees will also receive a wireless Android tablet device as part of the program and will be conducted virtually during their training using the modality of blended learning. This is necessary to facilitate distance education, remote working, and contactless education, and is a critical pillar in a drive to create a digital society and self-learning. Trainees will also get coverage of accident incident insurance. This is necessary to ensure the safety of trainees while at the training center or at the industrial partner site. The mode of delivery for training is primarily delivered practically with a 1:3 ratio of theory to practical. The program employs a process-based mode, that is, learning content is transferred practically through project work. Trainees are active learners in their environment and are expected to utilize all available resources to facilitate their learning. Trainees are graded primarily on the processes and approaches they employ to complete their project. This takes them through the process of planning, design, procurement, material preparation, construction, and serves as an assessment mechanism for active learning. The center-based assessment, CBA, accounts for 45% of the trainees' final grade. Trainees must also complete a final examination, which is divided into written and practical sessions. Successful candidates will graduate with a journeyman diploma and will be ready for the world of work. Again, I must reiterate, MIC has the necessary infrastructure, systems, and experience in place to efficiently administer and manage this program. Upon successful completion, trainees will receive a Level 6 CQF, Curriculum Qualification Framework, Journeyman Diploma, certified by the German Chamber of Crafts and Trades and MICIT. In closing, manufacturing in the foreseeable future will look very different from today and will be virtually unrecognizable from that of 30 years ago. Technology will drive most aspects of our life and businesses and will become commonplace. These may involve advanced mechatronics, autonomous robotics, the Internet of Things, additive manufacturing, and augmented reality, some of which we have already built into the MAP program looking forward. Successful firms of the future will need to harness a wider skills base in the MAP with highly qualified persons whose expertise combines both commercial and technical acumen, typically in the science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, and we stress heavily on this. Constant adaptability will pervade all aspects of business in the future, from research and development to innovation, production processes, supplier and customer interdependencies, and lifelong product maintenance and repair. So it is important that we prepare these trainees adequately to meet those demands. Therefore, at MIC, IT, as a leading the way forward, therefore, we at MIC are leading the way forward in working towards this emergent future, and we are extremely pleased to have the government support through the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the TTMA on this journey for the advancement of manufacturing and training. So to the trainees, I say congratulations again and welcome on board. I encourage you to take advantage of all our student services, for example, sports and mentorship, guidance and counseling, the Students Guild, and our newly established Business Start program, which is an entrepreneurial support for students in developing towards establishing a business. We applaud you for taking this first step in the direction of an enthralling career and look forward to your time here, starting with your orientation in the next couple of days. I trust you will make the best of this generous offer by the government. We are happy to receive you and work with you. Not only will you become an ambassador to MIC, but you, more importantly, represent the change our Prime Minister envisioned for our country in its diversification thrust. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. James, for your insightful explanation on the workings of the Manufacturing Apprenticeship Program to be delivered right here at MIC Institute of Technology. Also playing a large role in the support of the launch today is the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturing Association. The TTMA promotes, encourages, and assists the growth and development of manufacturing industries in TNT. And one of the ways in which TTMA does this is by promoting the use of modern methods of manufacturing and education for its members. And we can certainly agree that this is what the Manufacturing Apprenticeship Program will do for its participants. Ladies and gentlemen, I now call upon a woman who has shattered the proverbial glass ceiling, the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, Ms. Tricia Kusal.
Thank you very much. Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Honorable Ministers, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association is honored to bring the greetings at this launch of the Manufacturers Apprenticeship Program, MAP. We at the TTMA are in fact very pleased to be a partner to this apprenticeship program alongside others such as the MIC Institute of Technology, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and the Ministry of Youth Development and National Services. With the involvement of such distinguished entities, I am confident that this rollout will be successful. In Trinidad and Tobago, the non-energy manufacturing sector is the third largest contributor to the country's gross domestic product and employs approximately 52,000 persons directly. When programs such as MAP do this, they are in effect bridging the gap between the formal standard education system and being fit for purpose, which increases efficiencies and effectiveness. Consistently outputting ready-to-work people leads in turn to the non-energy manufacturing sector living up to its goal of helping to diversify the country's economy. The manufacturing sector is therefore allowed to play its part in the government's efforts to move away from its reliance on the energy sector while easing the burden on the government to be the major agent of employment. As an organization that promotes and assists the growth and development of non-energy manufacturing industries in the country, we lobbied for career training in the manufacturing sector as a strategic objective in 2021. We see this as a necessary step to another major goal, doubling the country's non-energy exports in 5 years. That is to say, in real terms, to move the value of non-energy exports from TT 3.5 billion in 2020 to TT 7 billion by 2025. This goal cannot be made real without enhanced human resources, making this manufacturer's apprenticeship program and others like it absolutely essential. Having made the determination to increase the human resources pool some time ago, the TTMA contributed to the cause despite the unforeseen challenges of the pandemic during 2020 and 2021 period. Two such initiatives were: 1, improving the skills, competencies, and productivity across the manufacturing supply chain through our education series, and 2, generating interest for careers in manufacturing through our online job career platform. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, in being here with you today, various parts of the national effort are falling into place. The TTME has been serving on the Roadmap to Recovery Committee, and this strategy to establish a national apprenticeship program was one of our recommendations. Our efforts to be part of the MAP framework started in November 2020 when the TTME joined the Manufacturing Sector Advisory Committee, SAC, working alongside the National Training Agency and the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Under the SAC, the TTME in 2021 undertook a labour market skills gap and foresighting survey. Based on the findings of this survey, a series of skills gaps were discovered in areas related to the field of mechatronics and engineering. The program being launched today seeks to address the skills gaps identified as well as potential future skills gaps. We at the association are of the firm belief that this map will allow graduates to develop their skills and competencies to meet the needs of the manufacturing sector. Our commitment to the program is to assist with the placement of these individuals at the completion of their first year. Working in the industry will allow them to gain the prerequisite practical experience to fulfill their obligation toward final certification. We stand to benefit as well, since the program will allow us to have access to employees that can perform at higher and more technical levels within our organizations. Well-trained staff is critical to embracing new technologies and pivoting to virtual and online business platforms. This will allow competency of businesses in the global arena. The TTMA will continue to do all that we can to encourage our members to take advantage of this timely opportunity by becoming an industry partner. Further, our members are being informed of the opportunities for their employees to upgrade their skills by being a part of this 3-year program. As I bring my remarks to an end, I wish to state that the TTME's board, management, and I are pleased by the efforts and commitment of all of the government's stakeholders involved in this program. It has been a good example of another initiative worthy speaking about some other time, the PPP, Public-Private Partnership. I look forward to working with all the relevant parties and wish to state that collectively we can and will create the needed labour market to propel and build capacity in the non-energy manufacturing sector. Together, we will move the country along a sustainable path of economic growth and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kusal, for your remarks. We know that this program will add to the productivity goals of your manufacturing membership and, by extension, the country. Ladies and gentlemen, to entertain you this afternoon, we have a display of both youth and talent. Allow me to introduce Mr. Akil Brown, MIC IT graduate, and now founder of the Hilltoppers Steel Pan Academy. He is accompanied by Master Hezekiah, an outstanding member of the Hilltoppers Steel Pan Academy's junior team. Let's welcome them, please. Thank you, Mr. Brown and Master Hezekiah. Thank you for taking us down memory lane with those sweet melodies of our national instrument. I think all we were missing was a dance floor. As you know, MIC IT falls under the umbrella of the Ministry of Education, and we are very pleased to have its unwavering support for this initiative, which seeks to empower youth and close the education and training skills gaps in the non-energy sector. It therefore gives me great pleasure to call upon the Honorable Lisa Morris-Julian, the Acting Minister of Education, to deliver her remarks on the Ministry's vision for this initiative.
Good afternoon. Dr. the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, and if I'm allowed, sir, although it expires tonight, my cabinet colleagues, Deputy Speaker of the House, Mr. Esmond Ford, and I see my very good friend, Mr. Anthony Garcia, honorable guests, and most importantly, the reason why we're here today, first cohort of MAP. Much has been said about the impact of the last 2 years, and I agree. It has been hard on the economy, on families, on the business sector, and of course, no one felt it more than the education sector. The manufacturing sector, what I've come to realize that while the last 2 years have been hard, it has not derailed you. In fact, it has simply forced us all to redefine our parameters for development. We realigned our priorities, and we are on to the business of recovery. Where are we going to compete? What innate skills do we have to allow us to compete across international markets? What kind of education we must provide for our people? Well, luckily for us, we have a Prime Minister with vision. So what did we do? How did we meet the fall in supply of skilled labor? Simply put, we tapped into our greatest asset, our people. So I therefore congratulate the team of technocrats, academics, and business persons who have demonstrated and articulated the foresight needed to do better, to position us to successfully compete in the non-energy manufacturing sector through the creation of this national apprenticeship program. Vision 2030 places emphasis on encouraging entrepreneurship, innovation, while equipping citizens with the right skill sets to perform. It mandates the creation of an education system where inclusiveness, integrity, and leadership are needed. The team at MIC IT, led by Professor Imber, is critical to the achievement of these objectives, and as the lead agency, nationally, and I dare say regionally, in the training of young persons in technical and vocational skills, their partnership in this program is testimony to this. MIC has and continues to do phenomenal work, and there's no better place for this program to reside. MIC is building our future. TVET plays a critical role in equipping a workforce with the relevant skills to meet the needs of the economy. Professor Imber understands that, along with his team, the future human resource capital for Trinidad and Tobago lies in the classroom of all schools at every level, whether it be ECCE, primary, secondary, or tertiary level. Critical to the approach of meeting the sustainable development, we need to define our educational roadmap. For a country to build on its human resource capacity, it must have a vision. That vision must never change its focus. And we are lucky to have a Prime Minister with a vision to create not just the beginning of our TVET revolution. We are a strong and a resilient people. We therefore seize the opportunities and move forward. The first theme or pillar of our national development plan is putting people first, nurturing our greatest asset. This program and the many other programs designed to nurture our youth across the government, specifically from ministries and agencies of youth development and national service, Agriculture, Sport and Community Development, and of course, the Ministry of Education. I congratulate Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi-Skoon and her team at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the drivers of this project. I congratulate Ms. Kusal for ensuring that we have the support of the manufacturing industry. This is a powerful partnership, and once leveraged effectively, it will address the shortage of skills, labor needed in this sector. This is what public-private partnership is supposed to do. Government's policy decisions, informing educational programming and development. To cohort 1 of the Manufacturing Apprenticeship Program, I leave you with a quote from Malcolm X. Education is the passport for the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. I challenge you to manifest the expectations of all those who have selected you for this opportunity. Take full advantage of it and set a path for success. You have a Prime Minister and you have a government that believes in you. Best wishes and God bless.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Your contribution today cements your continued commitment to the MICIT and its training, and we certainly appreciate your patronage. Today's launch, and by right, the existence of this manufacturing apprenticeship program would not have been possible had it not been for the next speaker and her dedicated team. It was their vision that a program like this will bolster our local manufacturing sector in transitioning to the 4th industrial revolution, and also improve the nation's productivity and overall competitiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the esteemed Minister of Trade and Industry, Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi-Skoon.
Thank you very much. And please let me acknowledge the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, my colleagues in the Cabinet, Professor Embe, Tricia Kusal, and all you special people here today. And more than anything else, I'd like to acknowledge the 75 trainees who are being matriculated today into MIC, and I think that there are another 60 or so that are listening to us. Yes, I'm right. This is an exciting program for me, and I'm not going to use my speech because I think a lot has been said. Dr. James, thank you. You have described the program accurately. And of course, I think the dots have been connected with the TTMA in terms of the objective of why we're here and why we need this program. And of course, with my colleague speaking about education and the importance and the connection. And she said one word, revolution. And I'll tell you that with this program, the Manufacturing Apprenticeship Program, and together with the programs that my colleague is establishing, this is Foster Cummings, the Minister with responsibility for youth development and national service. He's doing a number of things to engage youth in continuous learning and expanding the agricultural sector. And I think right there, what we're witnessing, and he said that word revolution, is a revolution in education in continuous learning. And we couldn't be more pleased since we talk about diversification, and this is in fact a revolution that is necessary to prepare for the diversification so that our economy will in fact prosper. Today I must express my appreciation. I'll tell you why and how we got here. It's Dr. Rowley, and this was during the COVID period. In his wisdom, brought together a number of people, persons, members of academia, the business community, government ministers, etc., and to look at where we are likely to be after this very difficult period that we've almost come out from and that we are evolving from. And out of that, we came up with this roadmap to recovery, working towards a new economy and a new society. Coming out of that, during the budget period, we sought to have the program, to do the estimates and have the program agreed on. And by January or February, I said to myself, let's get on with it. And I phoned my colleague, Dr. Gatsby Dolly and Professor Imber, and said, let's get on with it. Little did I know, and I'm so much in appreciation for the NTA, they got together. By the time we started talking at the top, they had gotten together, this is the NTA, people in the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Dr. Ramesh Ramdeen from the TTMA, and these officials started talking and formed this advisory working group, the sectorial, manufacturing sectorial advisory group. So by the time we got in there, they were already working. And I'm so very appreciative, because if that did not happen, we could not be here today ready to bring these students into a program starting next month, June. So I congratulate those public officials that on their own got ahead of us and started the discussion. And they started looking inwardly, because if we had to really materialize this program very quickly, we had to look at what we had. So they examined the entire landscape in terms of the training programs and all of the different Tibet learning mechanisms and so on. And what we found is that, and again from Professor Imber, that the journeyman program, the NSDP DP journeyman program, could be adapted to what we wanted in terms of this level of training for the manufacturing industry. Some adaptation has been done, and Dr. James spoke about mechatronics, the introduction of mechatronics, in addition to the industrial training and the electrical training and so on. And we've come up with this exciting program, which we think is geared enough for Industry 4.0, which is the program, the manufacturing of the future. And so here we are today. I am quite pleased with what is happening in the manufacturing sector. And Tricia spoke about their commitment to double manufacturing, you said to 7 billion. Coming out of the COVID period, we've already seen some great success. And we've already seen the increase in manufacturing, increase in total exports by, I think, 30% to 15.5 billion TT. But that's total exports. But coming down to manufacturing exports, the figure is more like we're at about $11 billion, and that's an increase of 46% from 2020, which is during the COVID period, and we have already surpassed the 2019 figures. And that's good, but it's not quite where we want to go. And so we're working with the TTMA. We want to surpass, when Tricia talks about that 7 billion, she's talking about particular industries within the manufacturing sector. And so they're looking at doubling the figures for, let's say, paper manufacturing, food and beverage, and that kind of thing, which the TTMA members are more geared to. So we want to expand that. We talk about diversification. Well, there's to be diversification even within the manufacturing sector, producing new products for new markets, and that's the only way that we are really going to get those figures up. The contribution to GDP right now is about 20%, $30 billion. That has to increase because the non-energy side has to support the economy better, in a bigger way. We have to be a stronger manufacturing sector. And whilst we boast of being the strongest sector within the Caribbean, we have to find a place within Latin America and the Caribbean. So those numbers have got to go up. Part of the exercise that the NTA and the other public officials did was also to use the two surveys, the local market surveys, to understand what were the needs in the manufacturing sector. So we had already known where the jobs are. So you guys are really moving into places that are available to you. And so that again, with the adaptation and of course bringing us to use the existing program, which is already accredited both by the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago and the German Chamber of Craft and Trade, we're ready, and we are getting ready for this transformation that is needed if we are to really realize the gains on the non-energy side. So we're in an exciting place. I think all of us are just happy for you, you people who have been chosen. And I want to say today that you're really being given a gift of an economic base. And I'm not talking about a $3,000 stipend, which I think is quite generous coming from the state. That will make sure that you are at class, that you do your, and of course all your needs are attended to so that you could focus on what is in front of you. But when I say that economic base, it means that when you leave here after 3 years, it means that you are going to fit into the manufacturing sector. You are going to be able to actually gain a very decent salary. You are going to be qualified to fill particular jobs that are in demand. And therefore, you are going to be putting yourself in a position where you're going to purchase all of your needs and wants in terms of a home and a car and all of that. That is the kind of base that you are acquiring here today. But it's up to you that you would apply yourselves in this program, and I can tell you that the Ministry of Trade and TTMA will come back and see you in action. And what we expect to hear you, by then we expect you to hear you in a language where you will talk about circuit boards and lathes and milling machines and that kind of thing. What you need to do is, you see the 8 hours of training, that device which you will get, which the government will pay for, which the taxpayers will pay for, you have to make the most of it. And you have to go home, not just to revise the work that you've done, but you have to see what is offered on the internet about manufacturing and manufacturing of the future, about robotics and automation and all of those exciting things. That's where you are going to fit in. Yes? So I'm very excited for you all, and very much appreciate the work of the public servants, very much appreciate the work of MIC and all that you've done here today, and I'm always pleased to work along with the TTMA at the end of the day to realize prosperity for the manufacturing sector, but more than that, prosperity for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That's what it comes down to. So I want to thank you all, and I look forward now to hearing from our esteemed Prime Minister. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. And thank you for choosing MICIT to facilitate this much-needed program. Ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply honored to welcome our keynote speaker. We feel very privileged to be in his presence. We know that youth and education are two important driving forces behind many national budgetary pronouncements and cabinet-led initiatives. And your affirmation of this program signals a wholehearted validation and endorsement of the national vision for this education program. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to deliver the feature address the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen all. Permit me a few moments to acknowledge the Deputy Speaker of the House and the Parliament, Member of Parliament for Tunapuna, Mr. Esmond Ford, Honorable Esmond Ford, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi-Schoon, my cabinet colleague and other cabinet colleague, the Honorable Foster Cummings, Member of Parliament for Lahoketa Talparo and Minister of Youth Development and National Service, the Honorable Lisa Morris-Julian, who today had spent most of the day in the cabinet, so she's growing. Member of Parliament for W. Mira. Ms. Frances Singray, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Trade and Industry. Mr. Farouk Hussain, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. Chairman of MIC Institute of Technology, Professor Clement Imber. Ms. Tricia Kusal, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association. Dr. Mahindra Ramesh Ramdeen, CEO of Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association. Dr. Ruby Aline, Chair of the National Training Agency on the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. Other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, board members and CEOs, our industry partners, directors of MIC, manufacturing, apprentice trainees, especially, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. That really could be my speech. And I would have covered all the bases. However, I am honored to deliver the feature address at today's launch of the National Apprenticeship Program for the non-energy manufacturing sector. Firstly, I must recognize the work of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Ministry of Education, the MIC Institute of Technology, the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, and the National Training Agency in the development of this very significant apprenticeship program. In listening to the various speakers before me, I am satisfied with the time invested and work undertaken to develop this program. I expect that the same level of effort will be placed on execution to ensure its resounding success. Ladies and gentlemen, the unforeseen COVID pandemic has had an unquantifiable impact on every aspect of our lives. This impact was further exacerbated by other global events. The immediate goal of this government is to return Trinidad and Tobago to a path of sustainability, development that is all-encompassing and transformative. It is with this vision that I constituted the Roadmap to Recovery Committee and tasked this committee to provide policy measures and recommendations to immediately respond to the crises. The committee recognized the critical role of human capital in driving sustainable socioeconomic development and has underscored the importance of pursuing strategies targeted to the strengthening of our human capital, leveraging the talents of all our people, and eliminating the barriers that impede human development. Investing in our people is critical. The development of this apprenticeship program contributes to the achievement of the targets set out in the Roadmap to Recovery regarding investing in human capital and is directly aligned to our Vision 2030 thematic area of putting people first and nurturing our greatest asset. You young people, you are our greatest assets. And never forget that. It is focused on retooling, upskilling, and building the technological expertise of the national workforce to meet the evolving needs of the private sector. This model of combining alternating periods at the workplace and training is allowing for greater opportunities for employment, well suited to providing young persons with the skills necessary to put them on a path to grow and expand their career, and supplying enterprises with dedicated and skilled workers. So I say to the recently inducted apprentices present with us here today, and all who are listening, that we are investing in you. You have been placed at the forefront of the development of Trinidad and Tobago. to increase productivity, contribute to the research and innovation, and increase the competitiveness of the private sector under the guidance and with the support of the public sector, and by that I mean the average taxpayer in Trinidad and Tobago. And don't you forget that. Pillar 4 of the Roadmap to Recovery identifies the need to enhance the human resource capacity in the manufacturing sector. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the long-term challenges experienced worldwide is skilled mismatches in the labor force. Daily, we are introduced to new technology, transforming the way we work, especially in the manufacturing sector. With that, more organizations find it challenging to find workers with the necessary skills and the skill sets needed to manage these new processes. This government undertook the modernization of the education and training system to ensure inclusivity, accessibility, and relevance to the development of the needs of Trinidad and Tobago's economy. In doing so, we endeavor to close the current gap between the demand and supply of labor, as well as strengthen the labor market system to meet the medium and long-term human resource needs of our country. This apprenticeship program was shaped on the results of a comprehensive, quantitative, and qualitative labor market report on selected manufacturing subsectors in Trinidad and Tobago. It identified skilled gaps and the effective human resource capacity strategies required in the sector, and that makes it extremely relevant. It also signals confidence in public-private partnerships, a key driver to post-COVID economic recovery. Public-private partnerships must work in tandem with government policy, particularly in efforts around reskilling and upskilling of the national workforce. The implementation of the National Apprenticeship Program for manufacturing will require each invested stakeholder, the government, MICIT, NTA, and the TTMA, to collaborate and drive the growth and expansion of the non-energy manufacturing sector. Ladies and gentlemen, it is agreed that the main purpose of education is to prepare people for jobs. Apprenticeship training is not new to Trinidad and Tobago. As early as 1906, apprenticeships have played a pivotal role in our nation's industrial growth by producing skilled craftsmen and technicians for several energy and non-energy sectors. Apprenticeship programs remain a reputable and highly considered career path, measuring up to the commonly pursued post-secondary and tertiary education routes. In fact, apprentices gain far more specialized and focused training in areas targeted to match the competencies required in industries. Apprentices are comprehensively prepared for the workplace and upon graduation are ready to be absorbed into industry. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the International Labour Organization, the ILO, more than 530 million jobs need to be created by 2030 to address global unemployment. Of the nearly 200 million unemployed people today, almost 65 million are youth. The fourth industrial revolution compounds this, as industries across sectors across the globe undergo the technological transformation brought about by industry jobs are expected to evolve to meet the new needs of industry. The World Economic Forum estimates that this will require the reskilling of more than 1 billion people by 2030. Fast-rising economies like India, China, Indonesia, and Malaysia remain ahead of the technological curve by investing in their human resource, focusing on reskilling and training workforces for jobs of the future. The commonly used German dual training model, which this apprenticeship program for the non-energy manufacturing sector adopted, has been successfully running in Germany, Australia, the United Kingdom, Canada, India, and Indonesia, and has been an integral part of human resource training for companies such as Daimler, Mercedes-Benz, Boeing, John Deere, Deutsche Bank, and Bosch. I would say that this apprenticeship program keeps us in the race. To keep up in this global race, our roadmap to recovery phase 2 outlines specific activities focused on innovation and digitalization. The government is implementing key projects which would positively impact productivity levels and embrace digitalization. It encourages firms and employees to act transformatively and execute differently. Much of this is being implemented by our Ministry of Digital Transformation through the improvement in digital infrastructure, improving the ease of access to technology, and improving the adaptation, acquisition, and adoption of technology in the workplace. Ladies and gentlemen, given the overwhelming support garnered for this manufacturing apprenticeship program, the government, through the Ministry of Trade and Industry, is developing an apprenticeship program for the wood and wood products manufacturing subsector to meet its unique needs. This apprenticeship program for wood and wood products manufacturing subsector is expected to result in the transformation of that subsector, leading to the advancement into higher value added wood-related manufacturing. It will also provide an opportunity to diversify Trinidad and Tobago's manufacturing profile, expanding from the production of food and beverage, which currently dominates Trinidad and Tobago's non-energy manufacturing. As I close, I must once again commend MICIT and the coordinating team on today's launch of the National Apprenticeship Program for the non-energy manufacturing sector. I look forward to seeing the tangible contribution of this program and its impact on building a competitive, productive, and innovative economy. I came here this afternoon to have my spirit buoyed, to see you, young people, in your uniforms, to know that those of us who are responsible for the management of the country in a particularly difficult period where there are tremendous demands from all directions for whatever is available, that we have found not only the time, but the resources to direct enough to you to take you from where you are, where you were, to where you are now. And we have to admit that the sky is the limit to where you are going to be in the years ahead. You've made the right choice. You've made the perfect choice to get yourself trained. I heard that you will be in this program for 2 years, 3 years. And during that time, you will be supported by a stipend. Patience. Contribute that 3 years to the rest of the years of your long life. Patience. And you will do well. I have every confidence that your teachers here, your mentors, your guides, have what it takes to make you world-class trainees and specialists in the skills that you have chosen. You will strengthen our country in a way that no steel can. Your success is the success of Trinidad and Tobago. And we are waiting on the end of your period where you will confidently step into the workplace and take our country forward. Thank you for making this choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. MIC-IT looks forward to continuing its mandate to provide quality technical and vocational education and training to our nation. We have come to a close to the official part of this program, and to deliver the closing remarks, I call to the podium MIC-IT's Acting Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Randy Munilau.
Thank you, Nayan. Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Honorable Ministers, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon all. On behalf of the Board of Directors and Management, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone for coming to the Manufacturing Apprenticeship launch today at MIC. This launch means a lot to us in many ways. We are elated that MIC can play a substantial role in bolstering the manufacturing productivity of our economy through the creation of manufacturing competencies for industry, which would lend to an increase in exports, generation of foreign exchange, and the creation of jobs, to name a few. Allow me to express sincere gratitude and appreciation to our featured speaker, the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, for attending the launch today and for ensuring this cabinet-approved initiative be implemented by the Ministry of Trade and Industry in conjunction with the Ministry of Education. Honorable Prime Minister, I thank you for your commitment and support to this initiative. And we know once we have your support, this manufacturing apprenticeship program will be a success. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. I also want to say special thanks to Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi-Skoon, whose ministry has paved the way for institutions like MIC to fulfill its mandate to be a leading provider of technical vocational training in Trinidad and Tobago, and most importantly, for embracing the MIC as the institution of choice for the operationalization of the manufacturing apprenticeship program. Madam Minister, thank you for the confidence that you have vested in MIC to operationalize this program. Thank you, Minister Gopi-Skoon. I also want to thank the Honorable Lisa Morris-Julian, Acting Minister of Education, and the Honorable Foster Cummins, Minister of Youth Development and National Service, for their presence here today. Thank you, Minister Morris-Julian, Minister Foster Cummins, for attending the launch today. We appreciate your presence here today. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, MIC-IT, and by extension, the Ministry of Education, continue to collaborate with MyDNS alongside many projects, and it is a natural and mutually beneficial partnership in which we work so well. Special thanks also goes out to the Multidisciplinary Manufacturing Sector Advisory Committee, led by Mr. Nairon Mohammed, Mr. Mohammed, which allowed us to work collaboratively with the Ministry of Education, the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, and the National Training Agency. So thank you, Nairon, for your efforts in making the manufacturing program a success. Thanks again. Ladies and gentlemen, today I also want to recognize Dr. Brian James, the General Manager of our Training and Industry Services Division, for his program overview. Dr. James has worked tirelessly to ensure the successful implementation of the MAP, and I would like to express gratitude to him for his contribution. Dr. James, we appreciate your contribution. I also want to recognize the stakeholders of the TTME, led by Ms. Tricia Kusal, which provided tremendous guidance in the construction of the map, ensuring its relevance in the manufacturing sector and alignment to the fourth industrial revolution and Industry 4.0, as highlighted by Minister Gopi Skoon. Ms. Kosal, I trust that you can sleep a little bit easier knowing that the goal of the TTME to double non-energy exports by 2025 is closer to realization. So thank you, Ms. Kosal, for your input in ensuring the relevance of the map. Special thanks also goes out to the National Training Agency for its guidance and direction in the development and implementation of apprenticeship training and certification. Today, the NTA is represented by Dr. Ruby Allen, Chairman of the NTA, so thank you, Dr. Allen, for your contributions in making the program a relevant one. So we appreciate your insight, Dr. Allen. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, special thanks to our dear Chairman, Professor Clemma Imbie, our Deputy Chairman, Mr. Keith Toby, and the Board of Directors and Executive Management of MIC for advancing the Manufacturing Apprenticeship Program, which is a perfect opportunity for us to showcase our talents, skills, and in-house capabilities as an institute of technology. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your attendance, especially our guests from the respective ministries and our industry partners. We have quite a bit of industry partners today. Thank you guys for coming out today and supporting this initiative, the Manufacturing Apprenticeship Program. To all the current industry partners, we thank you for your willingness to come on board to make this initiative a success. So thanks again to the industry partners. Today's promotional launch was also made possible by key team members of the Office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and MIC. In that vein, I say a special thanks to those in the respective corporate communication units, the Manufacturing Sector Advisory Committee, and all who made this launch possible. As I close, I would like to express congratulations to the trainees who were selected to be part of this historic program. They have gone through vigorous screenings and interviews, and most of them are present here today. Again, MAP seeks to accommodate 135 trainees in the first instance. So on behalf of everyone here, I wish our inaugural trainees a positive, productive, and successful time at the MIC Institute of Technology. I would also like to thank the media, for attending, which I'm sure will help us spread the word and promote this fantastic initiative that was masterminded by the Ministry of Trade and will be administered by the MIC Institute of Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, I can safely say that our diversification of the economy is in good hands, and I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Munilal. At about this time, we have two presentations to make to the Honorable Prime Minister, and I would like to call upon our dear Chairman, Professor Imbie. I'll also like to call Ms. Alima Makano and two of our former joinery trainees, Mr. Jason Thompson and Dion Senath, to make the second presentation.
Honorable Prime Minister, we have a presentation of a plaque. I sought the permission of the Minister of Trade and Industry to do this, and she said, please make it out of wood. So I said to the workshop, please make it out of wood. They said, but Professor, MIC means Metal Industries Company Limited. So we have a combination. Metal and wood for this plaque, made right here downstairs where the Prime Minister is going in a little while. To be presented, you talk about glass ceiling, a woman is boss, to be presented by the person who is in fact in charge of the workshop downstairs. So Alima. And the second presentation, I don't know if the Prime Minister is strong enough to hold it in his hand. Some time ago, not very long ago, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Senator, the Honorable Paula Gopi-Skun, had the, what word should I use, the temerity, the audacity to ask the chairman of MIC if we could conduct a program in woodworking. So I said, Minister, this is MIC. And the answer is yes. So we have the last set of trainees, we don't have current trainees, made 2 chairs before, and we didn't know what to do with the chairs. So, Mr. Prime Minister, you will have to get some of your strongest aides to accept this gift. Where is the gift? Where is it? Oh, it's there? Ah. So, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Toby told me, but when you give him all these gifts, what will he do? He'll have to declare to the Integrity Commission. So I said, listen, Keith, that's his problem, not mine. So, thank you very much, trainees of the woodworking section. And thank you very much, Alima from the workshop. Thanks.
I couldn't receive such exquisite gifts and not take the opportunity to say thank you. But I just went across there to double check. Because if I know my friend here, he could have had a rocking chair there and would have been speaking to me through wood. But apparently they are not rocking just yet. But the house is. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that reveal. And Honorable Prime Minister, not to worry, we have one of our dressmaking and design graduates on standby to outfit these outdoor patio chairs before we have them delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, after the program, we invite our esteemed ministers and, of course, the Honorable Prime Minister to tour the MIC-IT's Advanced Workshop and Macoya Technology Center, if time permits, followed by refreshments. But before we leave for the tour, I would also like to ask you all to stay a while for some photos with some of our manufacturing apprenticeship trainees. It's been an honor taking you through today's proceedings, and I thank you for coming to the MIC-IT to be a part of this auspicious and historical launch. And on behalf of MIC-IT, I wish you a safe and enjoyable afternoon. Please stay a while and enjoy some refreshments with us. Good afternoon, everyone.
This is how you play New Instant Millionaire. To play, simply scratch the dollar signs and shield symbols in the main area to reveal your winning numbers and potential prizes. Match any of your numbers to any of the winning numbers to win the prize shown below. Reveal a money dollar sign symbol and win double the prize shown. Reveal a money stack and win $1,000, or find a stack of coin symbol and win $500. This is your chance